Is this being shared on our? Does Camille usually do that? On our Facebook?
He does usually do this. Does, do they send in the video?
No, but it's public after. Yeah, I think you can find it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Correct?
and I also share it with him. Yeah, I'll probably put it up. Sorry, I didn't, I actually not connected it like before this.
All right, Kako, aloha. Welcome to the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32. Tonight is our regular meeting agenda of the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32, Monday, November 10th. Nove Mapo Umi, Makahiki Iwa Kalua, Iwa Kalua Kumalima, Makahola Ehiku, Okeahiahi. We are in person tonight at the Waimānalo Library Meeting Room, 41-1320. Again, that's 41-1320 Kalaniana Ole Highway, Waimānalo, Hawaii 96795. Or you could join us via WebEx video teleconference. The information and meeting link is posted on the agenda. And you can join us via WebEx. We're good? Moving on. And you can also find the board meeting recordings on YouTube / at Neighborhood Board Commission Office. Again, that's https www.youtube.com / at Neighborhood Board Commission Office. And then the purpose of tonight's halavai, tonight's meeting, the purpose of neighborhood boards and the neighborhood plan is to increase and ensure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Rules of engaging. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon and when recognized by the chair to address comments to the chair. Remarks should not exceed 3 minutes. Please ensure your microphone is muted unless you are speaking. You can mute and unmute for those dialing in on the phone by pressing *6. Please state your first name and your last name for the record before moving into your comment, question, etc. Written testimony may also be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Board Commission's office website. So, aloha mai kako. So, aloha, akahai, meaning kindness to be expressed with tenderness. Lokahi, meaning unity to be expressed with harmony. Olu olu, meaning agreeable to be expressed with pleasantness. Ha'aha'a, meaning humility to be expressed with modesty. Ahonui, meaning patience to be expressed with perseverance in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statutes, Chapter 5-7.5. The board may take action on any agenda item as required by State Sunshine Law, HRS 92. Specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda. A 2/3 vote, 9 of this 13-member board is needed to add an item to the agenda. Adding an item to the agenda, however, is not permitted if 1, the item to be added is of reasonably major importance, and 2, action on the item by the board will affect a significant number of persons. Determination of whether a specific matter may be added to an agenda must be done on a case-by-case basis. Please silence all electronic devices. This meeting is being recorded. Mahalo. So we call the meeting to order. O wauno o ka luna no hohope ku ike kamakea o helo. I am sitting in holding space for our chair, Kimiona Kane, who is not able to join us this evening. At this time, I would like to ask if anybody would volunteer to open us up in Pule or Oli. Do we have any volunteers? Do we have any volunteers? Mahalo.
Aloha, Kanala Kamalo Nilai. Please bow your heads, close your eyes. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for all that you have brought with us. Father God, we ask that you watch over our chair and his family and everyone we know and love. Father God, thank you for allowing us to have communication, transparency We ask that everyone is safe at home and safe in this meeting, and we continue to allow this space to be a place of communication, understanding, and transparency. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mahalo nui Canela for opening us up with Pule. If I can please ask our neighborhood board assistant, Melissa Urubio, for the roll call.
Okay. Member Kamahaloha Nui Lai.
Yes, here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Kamakeo Hello. And Chair Khan is not here. Member Makaila.
Eo.
Thank you. Member McKee.
Eo.
Thank you. Member Mokulehua. I think I see her online. Member Mokulehua. She's online. Member Nee.
Eo.
Thank you. Member Ralston.
Eo.
Absent.
Hello.
And Member Wong.
Eo.
Thank you. Member Mokulehua, yes, we got you. Thank you. Vice Chair, you have 7 members present.
Mahalo nui, Melissa. Next up on our agenda is the Olelo No'eau Okamahina. Tonight's Olelo No'eau is Helu Umikuma Ono. Ahuka Pekui Kanalu o Puhili. Much thrashing about in the surf of Puhili, signifying abundance of food. Thrashing about in water drives fish into the nets. Very timely. Yeah, this Olelo No'eau. As you know, we have the North Swell coming in and the whole coast is all blown out. I drove from Koloa all the way to Makapu'u earlier this morning just to see what impacts we're experiencing on the coast. And I noticed some of the homes over here past Kayona, they're bracing for this swell and they're trying to reinforce their coastline. So I just want to also send out some pule for the ohana there on the coast, who are always working to find creative ways to malama their ohana and their hale. But with that, Olelo No'eau Kamahina, number 16, Ahuka Pekui Kanalu o Puhili. Much thrashing about in the surf of Puhili. Again, signifying abundance of food. Thrashing about in the water drives fish into nets. With that, we're going to move on with our agenda this evening and on to our section 2, the Emergency Providers Report. Again, just want to mahalo everyone for joining us this evening. First up is Honolulu Fire Department. Aloha.
My name is David Schubert. I'm captain of Waimānalo Fire Station. So October incident statistics were 42 medical calls, 5 motor vehicle accidents, 2 of those being involving pedestrians, and 1 activated alarm. The fire safety tip for this month talks about cooking safety. Food has a unique way of bringing families and friends together, especially during the holidays, and cooking can be a relaxing activity. However, it is important to be aware that cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires and home injuries. By following a few safety tips, you can prevent these dangerous situations. Safety tips are: stay alert while cooking. If you are sleepy or having consumed alcohol, avoid using the stove or stovetop. Always stay in the kitchen while cooking. Never leave the stove and heated appliances unattended. Use a timer to remind yourself to check on your food regularly. Keep combustible items like oven mitts, wooden utensils, food packaging, and towels away from your stovetop. And keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking areas. I also wanted to add tonight, I know last month they were running calls, they weren't able to attend, but the previous month there was a question about helicopter operations and private companies going and lowering their airspace, their flight patterns. So the official response is the HFD Air Group is aware of the petition to lower the tour helicopter level. However, tour regulations differ from search and rescue regulations. So if the petition is approved, it will not impact HFD's response operations. The HFD Air Group follows best practices to ensure operation is not a hazard to the general public.
Mahalo Kapena Schubert for your report. Members online, do we have any questions for HFD? Go ahead, Mokuleho, you're recognized.
Hi. I just wanted to mahalo HFD on behalf of Puha Street. HFD came out and were the judges for our Halloween block party. So that was really amazing to see. They worked really, really hard, and the community was really happy to see the firefighters and take pictures with them. So I just want to mahalo you guys on behalf of Puha Street.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Hola. Any other members online? Any members in person? Anyone from the public online? Any questions, comments for our Kapena? Ole, anyone in person? Hearing and seeing none. Mahalo for your service.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Aloha yahi. All right, next up for our emergency responders report is Honolulu Police Department. Do you have anybody from HPD present? Ina Aole. We can move on with our emergency providers report. The Department of Ocean Safety.
Hello, everybody. My name is Akatamashiro, Ocean Safety Lieutenant for the Waimānalo portion of District 2, which, as you guys know, covers from basically Makapu down towards all the way to the end of the federal start for Bellows. For the last month's totals, Beach 5 Makapu, we had roughly just shy of 16,000 visitors with about 2,500 preventative actions, 250 approximate first aid, minor first aids. Was it over 3,000 public contacts with 14 rescues and one serious call where we made sure to get EMS. For 6 Alpha, which is Waimānalo Beach Park, roughly 10,000 visitors, nearly 200 preventative actions, about 50 or so first aid, minor first aids. And luckily over there, last month was pretty low, so no rescues. And I think that's been working with a lot of the groups that have been coming down. They've been making sure anytime they got the keiki going in and out of the water, everybody's been doing a really great job of bringing their own lifeguards as well. We always keep an eye on as well, but it is nice that they have their own designated ones as well. Moving on to Hunananiho. They had about 25,000 visitors, about 1,700 preventative actions, nearly 200 minor first aids, and they had 5 rescues. And most of those rescues were basically because of the standard mushroom reps. Last month tended to be a few more of the visitors, and then the ones that weren't visitors tended to be younger keiki that were out there unattended, but pretty standard. And then moving on to Bellows, which again is only open for weekends and holidays. About 8,000 visitors, 406 preventative actions, about 80 minor first aids, and they had 4 rescues. And again, over there, due to the same type of conditions, but tends to be a little bit more visitor focused. On another note, last month we had a 3-day ongoing search. It was out of our portion, but over in Kailua, unfortunately, we weren't able to make any patient contact for a missing local male that was paddling his one-man canoe. We were really stoked on working with all the other agencies, including fire, EMS, the Coast Guard, and a lot of folks from the public came to help out. We had numerous kayak incidents outside both the Spinning Caves and over at the Mokuluas. Like you touched on earlier, right now we've got a pretty large northeast swell with strong trades. but we've gotten kind of lucky as far as ocean safety side. Because of the poor weather, it has kind of kept the amount of people going to the beach relatively low for today. So we're kind of hoping for that tomorrow. Unfortunately, I feel bad hoping for not the best weather tomorrow because it being a holiday, but with the conditions we got, these are the days when everybody's bringing multiple uniforms because we're going to be prepared to be wet all day. And I think that touches on everything for last month.
Mahalo, Lieutenant. Do we have any members online that have any questions or comments for ocean safety? Hearing none. Any members in person?
I think I have a question or comment.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Aloha, Kanela Kamalanilai. I guess this might be a question for maybe future conversations, but I was hoping if ocean safety could also keep in consideration and thoughts about the possible beach parks becoming like a dog park. I believe Hunananiho, Waimānalo Beach Park in Bellows was put as a consideration for a dog park. And I wanted to see if you guys would be open to being a part of that conversation since you guys do like the preventative first aid.
Mhm.
How will making those places a dog park impact ocean safety as well?
Well, yeah. That's the first that I've heard about it, but I'm always open for any type of conversation, especially if we're already there. We're happy to help in any way we can. Right off the top of my head, I'm sure we're all pretty aware of the houseless community down there. It started off with just a few dogs, but recently I've personally noticed that there's been a big influx in more dogs belonging to those folks. So that would definitely be my own personal concern. But yeah, by all means, you guys have my
Yes.
contact info, so reach out anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Mahalo, I have a question or just a comment really. If you can please remind us with over 4,000, preventative measures in the month of October in Waimānalo in your
Mhm.
folks district. Can you just please remind us what's the scope of that? What does that mean, preventative measure?
No, that's a great question. A preventative action can be anything from just letting people know that, hey, we've got some pretty strong currents today, or it could be like as they're actively going out into the water to go boogie boarding with their young ones or whatnot, or if we've got a high amount of Portuguese man of war coming in, we can go down and be like, whoa, hey guys, for Sandy Beach and Makapu, it primarily consists of folks that aren't prepared, aren't adequately skilled, don't have the right equipment. We'll go down and politely tell them that, hey, this is the equivalent of jumping onto a black diamond ski run, and it's dangerous even for us. So we try to do our best to provide them better options, which is usually further down the road. But what we've learned over the last 20 years or so is that sending them to Waimānalo from Sandy's and Makapu isn't always the best thing because we're just sending them it's not a safe beach, it's just a different type of danger. While we may be pulling them away from high surf and dangerous shore break, we might be putting them into an area like Punana where there's countless rip currents. And because it's such a big open area, a lot of times you might see a big crowd and look 500 yards down the beach and see nobody. And it's nice that they get their personal space, but it makes it that much further and a little bit further outside of the primary scope. So overall, a preventative action is just seeing something before it happens and going down and trying to talk them into giving them some better options.
Mahalo, Lieutenant, for that.
Yeah.
If you can just stand by, do we have any members of the public online? Have any comments or questions for ocean safety? Hearing and seeing none. Any members in person? Ole. Mahalo, Aka.
Hey, no problem. Thank you guys for having me and definitely get in contact with me. Okay. Aloha, guys. Have a
Okay,
good evening.
aloha. All right, moving on to section 3, Ekolu, for our agenda this evening and public agencies report. First up is Board of Water Supply. Do we have Danielle online?
Hi, good evening.
Aloha, you're
That's
recognized.
Danielle. How's it? Danielle Nellis with Board of Water. So the message from the board this month is to report last month, October, there was one 6-inch water main break on Lucanella Street. So this pipe was installed in 1950, FYI. And then the message for November, just some information on water main breaks. So when a water main break occurs or a fire hydrant is hit, the Board of Water does its best to work quickly to reduce the impact to all its customers, protect public safety, and to restore their water service. For any updates on main breaks, we usually record 4-inch and larger main breaks. And any information on how the repairs were made, you can visit boardofwatersupply.com/main breaks. You can also be informed regarding any water service disruptions via Facebook or Nextdoor apps. And also, you can also sign up for the HNL alerts. And that's all I have.
Mahalo nui, Danielle. Do we have any members online that have any questions for Board of Water Supply? Moving on to the members in person. Danielle, this is Quick. I have a question for you. You know the 6-inch main
Mm-hmm.
pipe? Is that? Oh, what kind of pipe is that, Danielle?
You know, I don't have exacts, but I believe it's a ductile iron concrete core on the inside. I
Okay.
can find out for sure, but I was looking at the ones in the area, and that's what they were all at that time.
Okay, mahalo. And then if you can stand by, we have another member with a question. Go ahead, Lily.
Aloha, Danielle. I
Hi.
had a question about the Ko'olaukoko Watershed Management Plan. And I know part of the watershed management plans is meant to kind of look at options for recharge, aquifer recharge, and watershed restoration. I was just curious. I remember in the past, I think BWS had a grants program that would support watershed restoration efforts. Is that program still active? Is that something that you folks do still?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer, but I will find out and get back to chair with the answer, or as well
Okay.
as next month.
Thank you, Danielle.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Mahalo nui. Then if you can please stand by, do we have any members of the public online that have any questions or comments for Board of Water Supply? Hearing and seeing none. Any members in person? Ole? Okay, well, mahalo nui, Danielle, for always showing up to our a community ready to report out and receive any questions. With that, we recess in December, so you
Yes,
have
I saw that.
holidays. Yeah, you have a happy holidays, and we hope to see you in January.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome. Aloha. All right, next up, we have Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative. The chair has received an email, and then I'm going to hand it off to Melissa.
Okay, so this is from Director Thielen. Aloha Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. I apologize for my absence during the November meeting. I am traveling off island. We have the mayor's November 2025 newsletter posted in the public Google Drive, and the link is on the agenda. And then we also have hard copies for those that want a copy here in person. And I'm just gonna read the answers to the questions from last month's meeting. So first, Member Wong asked for an update on the following request for supplies for beach parks. So ATV for workers in Belos area, weed whacker for the groundskeeper at Hunananiho Beach Park, signage at both Hunananiho and Waimānalo Beach Park for campsite numbers, and signage for rules at Hunananino so to support HPD enforcement. So to answer that, Department of Parks and Recreation said that new ATVs are a good idea. DPR will look into the feasibility of using ATVs at this site. All groundskeepers have access to weed eaters. No weed eaters are stored at Hunananiho due to theft, short or storage room break-ins. The installation of campsite signage at Waimānalo Beach Park and Honananiho Beach Park will be completed by the end of November 2025. And DPR will install signage of rules at Honananiho on or near the comfort stations. Question number 2, Waimānalo Beach Park comfort station design. A resident asked about the budget for this project. Department of Design and Construction answered that the project to replace the comfort station facility at Waimānalo Beach Park, including replacing the electrical and water feeds, has a design cost of $407,526. The construction cost estimate is $4,500,000, bringing the total project cost to $4,907,526. And then there was also a letter that was provided to Chair Connie. I'll just read a little bit, part of it. After reviewing Chair Connie's email, met with him and Councilwoman Kia Aina to discuss the matter further. I am proposing we move forward and on 2 paths at the same time. DPR will reach out to DHHL to ask whether NAGPRA or Hawaii state laws apply in the event EV is discovered on DHHL land, and that land that is licensed to the city to operate as a public park. We will explain that we are asking for guidance because the project to replace the existing bathrooms may result in a finding, and in that case, we want to follow the appropriate process. Because administrations change and memories can differ, I will make the request in writing and share the letter and any reply with the board. At the same time, because people, especially KK and Kupuna, need bathrooms at the park, I am directing DDC to proceed with the design, not the construction, just the design. I will instruct them to use the least impactful of the 3 options, which is to replace the water and electrical lines using their current location. This is the path that goes underneath the parking lot. While it will require trenching, that trenching will be limited to the location previously trenched where the lines are now located. I will also ask DDC to clarify whether it is possible for the construction to remove the old lines and place the new ones in the same location. I think this practice is avoided in situations where the old lines are still servicing the bathroom. But in this case, since the bathroom is condemned and unusable, we hopefully can cut power and water, remove the old lines, and drop in the new ones. Lastly, I will ask them to identify the materials that will be used for the underground infrastructure. Since you will not be meeting in December, I will be available at the January meeting for further discussion at your pleasure. And then lastly, member, I believe Canela asked about the Skyline. Will Skyline have a published phone number for new users in case they need assistance? Will Skyline and adjacent bus stops have information posted so riders know where connections are between the 2 and for which destinations? And is the city reducing or eliminating any bus routes due to opening the new Skyline stations? Department of Transportation Services provided that Skyline and the bus riders can contact customer service by calling 808-848-5555 and select the following options. Option 1 is Honolulu Estimated Arrival System. Option 2, Transit Information. Option 3, Holo Customer Service. Option 4, Skyline Lost and Found. And option 5, the bus customer service and lost and found. And on October 16, 2025, bus routes were modified in conjunction with the opening of segment 2 of Skyline. Routes that were reduced and or eliminated are listed below. Route A, City Express. Route 20, Waikiki Aloha Stadium. Route 303, Hickam Airport Kalihi Transit Center. And Route PH8, Makalapa Upper Harbor. And to view all bus service modifications implemented, you can visit www.thebus.org. Thank you.
Mahalo. And that concludes the report from our mayor's representative. Do we have any members online that have any questions or comments? I see one member, Michaela. Go ahead.
I dropped it in the chat box. If you can respond to Mayor's Rep and let them know to route the correspondence to DHHL through the email address in the chat box for an expedited response.
Hikino. Any other members? Member Wong, you're recognized.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that talking to two of the groundskeepers at Hunananiho, they have to use their own personal weed whackers and blowers. They don't have one. The number one priority we asked for was a vehicle, Polaris, and there's space now in the building and they haven't gotten theirs yet. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Mahalo nui. Any other members? Any members in person? Go ahead, Canela.
Aloha Kanala. I'm gonna try to say this with as much aloha as I can bring forth. As a comment, maybe the mayor and the director that represents with that kind of heavy update to maybe bring a representative back out so that the conversation and the questionings can happen. Thank you, Melissa, for reading that long everything that was sent to you to notify our boards. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. So if it is the responsibility of the mayor and Director Laura Thalen to find a representative to help the transparency and the conversation to go on, reading it off and taking a break is not effective enough, especially with that much details and different projects and conversation. Because I guess if you would like my question, which one of the 5 options from the 808-848-555 will directly put them to the Skyline route that I asked about? That was like why it's best to have a mayor or someone here to answer those kind of questions. So that was just one example of questions that should have been answered with that much heavy details and projects that's coming up in the city and county, in our community. Thank you. I pass it back to the chair.
Mahalo, Canela. And noted. Yeah. All of that's noted. And will be communicated to the mayor's rep, Director Thielen. Do we have any members from the public online that have any comments or questions for the report on the mayor's behalf? No members online? No members of the public online? Anyone here in person? Raise your hand. No? Okay. Okay, well, mahalo, and then sending all aloha to our director, as she is on her travels, and bid her a safe return. Okay, moving on with our agenda this evening. Hawaii State Department of Transportation. Do we have Casey Ave? NTP, did you have another question or comment for the mayor's rep? Ole, I see her shaking her head. Okay, mahalo. Okay, do we have a representative from the State Department of Transportation? DOT. Ole, hearing and seeing none. Okay. Well, moving on with the next section of our agenda for community organizations reports. First up, education reports. Do we have a representative from Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School, Ho'okumu de la Cruz? Ole? Okay. Do we have a representative from Blanche Pope Elementary School, Kulakaipunia Waimānalo? Ho'okumu Resentes? Ole? Do we have a representative from Malama Honua Public Charter School, Ho'okumu Espana?
Aloha, Vice Chair. Mahalo nui. I'm here.
Aloha, you're recognized.
Aloha. I'm gonna try to share my screen. Just wanting to open. We just finished our first trimester. Oh, kalamai. Aloha o Val Denise Espanyanda Po'okula at Malama Honua Public Charter School. We just finished up our first trimester, and in recognition of our first trimester where we look at Ovaila, who am I? Where do I come from? Navai ke kupu o oi was the olalo no eao that is leading us into and wrapping up our trimester one. And as we reflect and appreciate the foundation upon which we grow and support the growth of our next generation. This is our trimester one ho'ike. This happened this past Saturday at Windward College, where our haumana engaged in a variety of ways to ho'ike their learning, from readers theater, interactive presentations, and then workbooks that they would do, interactive activities, all culminating in their expression of what they've learned over the first trimester and heading us into the second trimester. I also wanted to recognize that our Farmers Union in Waimānalo and the State Farmers Union was able to sponsor a handful of our amazing haumana as they represented Waimānalo at the Farmers Union Conference. They participated in Makahiki Games. They came to share shared ku'ikalo, and as well as got to meet with Rep Tokuda, and then visit Vahi in Kona. So it was an amazing opportunity for presentation and learning for a handful of our 8th graders. I also wanted to share that we just also had our bingo for books with PID. And if you take a good look at some of these images, you may see people that you recognize. I hope we were able to, last year we shared the mo'olelo that we pulled together, and it's all on the Bishop Museum website. And this year we were able to share and give away our Waimānalo mo'olelo. And so there are 3 books, both in English as well as Olalo Hawaii. You're going to recognize in the artwork even, you can see Kapiolani in there. I wanted to highlight her. These are some of our other Waimānalo neighborhood heroes that are beautifully represented in these stories of Waimānalo. So they're available to be purchased. You can get to the link via our website, but they can be purchased on Kamehameha Publishing. We're also able, through the generous grant, be able to gift a whole classroom set to Kamehameha Preschool, Waimānalo, the library, and then Pope's program. So, and a variety of different community partners. So if you're interested, please always know that you can reach out to us, but it's such an amazing opportunity that I want to share, celebrating Waimānalo and the amazing people in Waimānalo. Important dates for Malama Honua. Application window is now open for kindergarten through 8th grade through March. La Ku'oko'a is coming up, and Malama Honua will be celebrating La Ku'oko'a on November 25th. So of course, no kula from the 26th through the 30th. We're excited for the Waimānalo Christmas Parade on the 13th, and winter break will be from the 20th to the 6th. Oya Valeno.
Mahalo nui po'okumu Espana. Please stand by for questions or comments. Members online, do we have any questions or comments for po'okumu? Hearing and seeing none. Any members in person? I just wanted to express my mahalo to Malama Honua and you, po'okumu, under your leadership for graciously accepting one of my pua, Hina. And then I just also want to give a shout out to the Waimānalo Charter of the East Farmers Union United for sponsoring and supporting our OPO and engaging them within food systems and conversations and policies around food systems, because food is our identity. So mahalo nui. Any members of the public online that have any questions or comments for Po'okumu? Any members in person? Ole? Po'okumu, mahalo nui
Mahalo.
again. Happy holidays. Please be safe. And actually, I have one question. La Ku'oko'a, November 25th. Can you please just explain a little bit on how you folks will be celebrating La Ku'oko'a?
More than happy to, or Kapiolani can also add because she's going to be our kumu that's heading it up. But we want to make sure that we celebrate our independence. And so we will be doing a variety of different opportunities from different games, stamping, food, and fellowship. Kapi, do you want to share? You've got more of the details, but.
Sure. Kapiolani ni. So yeah, we'll be starting the day off at Waimānalo Okekai as a whole school, whole kula. And we'll be having like rotations. So we'll be doing La Ku'oko'a bag tags, some informational coloring books. We'll also have a like a history / reader, reader's theater with another kumu, and then we'll doing pa'ihi. So, and then olakina snacks.
Mahalo for sharing. Excited to hear that our Hamana have access to that kind of community that put them first and their ku'oko'a. So mahalo nui Po'okumu for your report and presentation. Again, please malama the rest of the year, and we see you in January. All right, next up, do we have a representative from Waimānalo Okekai? Hearing and seeing none. How about Windward Community College, Po'onui Eschenberg?
Aloha, Vice Chair.
Aloha, you are recognized.
Mahalo. I have one thing I want to share today because it's super important. Due to system upgrades to our student records management system will be down from December 11th at 5:30 p.m. through January 3rd. This is awful because it impacts, I hate smiling as I say this, it's so awful actually. It impacts registration and adding and dropping of classes, finding out how much your bill is, like everything from December 11th to January 3rd is pretty much not available online for students. So we're asking if you're a student, if you know a student, or if you want to be a student, please try to register as soon as possible. Students who register by November 28th, we've set up some incentives, so they'll be entered into a raffle for full tuition scholarship for the spring. And we're having a great big concert on the lawn, our backyard bash on December 5th. Every student who registers by November 28th gets a free ticket. 808 The Vitals, Johnny Sweet, and Wavy. It should be a super fun night. We're figuring out how to do a dinner for free for everyone too. We were gonna use it as a fundraiser, but with the national circumstances right now, we've decided to figure out how to do free food for people so they can come enjoy and not be hungry. Also, so that's the registration drive. If you need to apply because you want to come in the spring, please do so as soon as possible. We have counselors standing by all day now. They're making it so you can do walk-in appointments or Zoom walk-in appointments. And yeah, so that's the registration. Just please get in. The other reason it's really important is on December 8th, they'll cancel low enrolled classes. So any class that doesn't have enough students to meet a threshold gets canceled. We have to do it a little earlier this year because of all of the record systems tumult. So it's important to be in class if you want that class to exist. Okay, that's enough of the dire UH news. Again, that, by the way, that was not a WCC imposed issue. It was system-wide, and they kind of have to upgrade the records management system because the version they're using is no longer supported. So it's just kind of circumstantial. It's the circumstances. The other thing is Hawaii Food Bank will be having a food drive-through pickup on our campus for boxes of food on tomorrow. And if you want in, if there's still spots, you would go to the Hawaii Food Bank website and register for it. They have a limited number. It's 500. We did one last week as well. I don't know if we'll have one coming up, but we always volunteer the college to try and get food to people in the community, especially right now with everything up in the air with SNAP. If you're a student, we also have food pantry. We have free meals every single day, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at our cafeteria, Monday and Friday, as well as during the week at Trio. And we've been trying to increase the amount of food in our food pantry. We also have Aloha Harvest coming to campus and distributing via Trio weekly too. So that's all my news right now. Thank you so much for time tonight.
Mahalo nui, e ka poʻo nui. If you can please stand by. Members online, do we have any questions or comments for our Chancellor? Hearing and seeing none. Any members in person? You have a question? Okay, and I'll get to you real quick. Just mahalo. I just have one comment. Artists, I just want to mahalo you folks for collaborating with Waimānalo, to allow our students there this past weekend so they can present, their hana and all the things that they're doing within community. It's very important that our OPO have experiences within higher education that will potentially alleviate the pressures or remove the pressures, the social pressures, whatever pressures that our OPO going through, from entering these spaces, because they grow up there, because they present their work there, it's just ma'a to them. So I really believe that, collaborations like that is the future of our community. So just mahalo nui from our ohana.
Oh,
And with-
mahalo, Ms. Chair. That's the whole purpose, is getting higher education to be just a part of our community, making the college just a place that people go for as part of our community. Mahalo.
Mahalo. If you could please stand by. Any members from the public online? Any questions or comments for our Chancellor? Hearing and seeing none, we have a question. Yeah, if you can please approach the mic, and then for the record, you can please just briefly introduce yourself, your name.
Hi, I'm Holly, and I just wanted to ask you if that backyard bash was open to the community or was that just for students?
So we're going to prioritize students, and if we have capacity left over, we're going to allow $20 walk-up tickets. If that's
Okay.
we're sorry to charge for it, but that's
No, it's
that's
good
what
to know.
we've done. Yeah, and it'll be cash only, just because whenever we use a credit card, we end up losing like $5 for every single ticket, and I don't want to charge any more than that. Yeah.
Mahalo.
Mahalo ya'oi. I hope I get to see you there.
Mahalo, Chancellor, for joining us this evening. And, because we recess in December, I also want to extend our mahalo and aloha to you from the board. And please be safe this holidays, and we will see you in January.
Mahalo nui.
Aloha. Okay, next up on our agenda, do we have a representation from University of Hawaii CTAR? Okay, hearing and seeing none. How about Hawaii Job Corps? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Rolling on community service reports. Do we have a representative from Waimānalo Health Center?
Aloha, yes, good evening. My name is
Aloha.
Jasmine. Aloha,
You're
thank you for
recognized.
having me. Thank you. I wanted to share November is Diabetes Awareness Month. Diabetes is definitely a disease that impacts our community. And we wanted to just share the importance of knowing the risks of developing diabetes, the importance of building healthy habits, knowing your A1C or your blood glucose, and working with your healthcare team to address diabetes if you have it. And we wanted to share some of the programs available at the health center. For those that are interested, we do have a diabetes prevention program. So sometimes people's A1Cs are getting higher, but they not quite diabetic, and that's a great time to address it. So we have that program. It's a free 1-year program where you get to meet weekly with a lifestyle coach, learn new skills, and set some health goals. So I wanted to share about the diabetes prevention program. We also have Diabetes Talk Story. That's a group that meets monthly. So for many people, they might not know that much about diabetes and they find out they have it. So this is meant to be a safe space where you can come and ask questions, learn how to better manage it. And that's led by our Dr. Catherine Singh, and she is board certified in advanced diabetes management. So that's an option we have for people that have diabetes and want to improve their health. Outside of those diabetes specific programs, we also have cooking classes. We have a range of programs that all are good for lifestyle and healthy habits. But I wanted to highlight those 3 programs. And if you have questions about them, Jennifer is the best contact, and her direct line is 808-954-7162. I'll put her name and number in the chat so you have it. One other program I shared last month, but I want to share again going into the holidays and New Year's, since our next meeting will be after New Year's Day, but our free smoking cessation program that anybody wanting to quit cigarettes or vaping or Juul, we have that program available. And so to get more information, you call 259-7948. That's a really great program. I just wanted to highlight again for people thinking about quitting. Those are my announcements. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Jasmine. Can you please stand by? Any members online, do you have any questions or comments for Jasmine and Waimānalo Health Center? Any members of the board in person? Go ahead, Canela.
Hi, good evening, Canela. Question was for the diabetes talk story. Does a member have to have diabetes, or what are like the eligibilities to be a part of that talk stories? I think I might have missed.
I think the best thing for me to do is to ask the person that runs the program, because I think that you have to, but I'm not 100% sure. So if someone's interested and they don't have diabetes, I don't want to say, no, you can't. So I will ask Jennifer, and then I can share that information back at the next meeting. And if someone wants to know before then, you can also call her directly if you'd like.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Mahalo. Jasmine, I have a question. Your diabetes prevention program, what age would a participant be eligible to participate in a program? Because it's a preventative program, my assumption is, are OPO able to participate in this program?
I do not know the answer about specific ages. I can ask. I do know our Kuikamana team, they do health education and they cover a variety of things. But for that program specifically, I'm not 100% sure. So I will ask that as well. I apologize for not knowing those specifics.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And then if you can please forward your response to our chair, and then that way he can disseminate. And the reason why I ask is, diabetes is inherited. It may not be genetical, however, the habits of one generation is inherited by the next. The circumstances of one generation is inherited by the next. So therefore, diabetes is presumed to be inherited. And then so if we have, if the Native Hawaiian population is overrepresented, in diabetes, I would just assume that multi-generational households that have the kupuna, the makua that has diabetes, that the following generations, are onslaught to inherit that, those same things. So the preventative measures should also include our OPO. So if you can please just email the response to our chair, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I will do that. And thank you for sharing that. I know food has a lot to do with things. So a lot of our programs, we have several programs about aipono. So learning what's in our foods, how to grow healthy foods, how to prepare food at home. So that's why I included the cooking classes as well. And then I know our Ma'iolo Services program, they focus on La'au, but they also, some of their programs, they have a Hanaya plant, so people can take that home, grow that. Some of those are both La'au and different foods to eat too. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. And then if I can follow up
Yeah.
with a comment. So I mahalo. I've seen the your folks culinary classes, and I'm very familiar to the concept of aipono. Actually, the health center under the leadership of my mother actually was the first sponsor of the originators of aipono. And that's the ho'ohana. Yeah, and so we're very ma'a to this. But has the health center designed any program that could fit the Aikamealoa'a program? Because a lot of the things that our people consume is what they have access to. So while I agree, as a farmer by trade, one of the ways to curb diabetes and all of these other preventative illnesses is to take more control and sovereignty over the foods we consume, which therefore we got to grow them. However, I look at the shelves of our local stores, we are still importing more. And I look at the prices of the foods in our stores. The fresh produce still costs more than the processed ones. So has the health center ever considered designing or strategizing to design a program that follows a line the Aikamealoa'a concept, which is very much a Hawaiian concept? You eat what get. How do we create healthier options from the foods that our community have access to? I don't know how much healthier we can make Cheetos. However, like, what are the other options there? I know my ohana, we try to bomb our keikis plates with fruits, but it's not always ono to them. So and vegetables, but it's not always ono to them. So anyways, that's just food for thought, pun intended. But Jazz, if you can please stand by, if we have any members of the public online that have any questions or comments for Waimānalo Health Center this evening. Hearing and seeing none. Any members in the public here in person? Ole. Jasmine, mahalo nui for showing up every month and being makokau to service our community. With that, we appreciate you and we shall see you in January. Please malamu
Mahalo.
over the holidays. Aloha.
Mahalo for having this space.
Always, always. Mahalo you folks. Okay, next up, Waimānalo Hawaiian Homestead Association. We have a representative. I'm aware that the Homestead Association just underwent a transition in leadership of their board, and maybe we can send an email out to their new leadership inviting them. Okay, next up on our agenda this evening, military reports, subsection C under community organizations. Do we have a representative from Bellows Air Force Station? Hearing and seeing none. What about Marine Corps Base Hawaii? Ole? Okay, what about Hawaii Army National Guard? Ole? I wonder who's manning the gates if the federal government shut down. Do we know? That was going to be my question. Oh, likely. Okay, well, we mahalo them for their service. Veterans Day tomorrow. Mhm. Mahalo. Moving on with the next section of our agenda this evening, section 5, resident and community concerns and announcements, public reports. Again, this is limited to 3 minutes for community concerns. Please review the note section in the box at the top of the page regarding adding items to the agenda. Do you have any members of the public online? Ole, any members of the public in person? Aloha, if you can please approach the mic and just briefly introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, my name is Holly San Miguel. I'm the president of Ahonui Works. Our banner is located on the New Town and Country fence. And we have been trying to get our pump track started at Waimānalo District Park. And we became a nonprofit 501c3 at the end of last year. So just wanted to give you some updates. We are still around and still pushing for things to get done. We are still trying to look for funding because it costs a lot. We were looking at starting with a dirt bike pump track, but it's not for the longevity, and due to our weather, we ended up sticking with asphalt, which is going to cost a lot more. So we're looking at around 600,000 average. And so we are trying to work with the city and the state about possibly putting some of that at least into the budget for next year. We are trying to get into the Christmas parade for the second time this year. We are also continuing to build awareness in the community and everywhere of what a pump track is. So to see more of that, you can go to our website, ahonuiworks.org, to read more about our project and to read our mission and vision statement. Our needs, we are in need of more board members / sponsorships, assistance with grant writing, and the naming of the park, because we want a Hawaiian word to deal with, to have to do with the mo'olelo of Waimānalo. And it was a suggestion from our secretary, McKenna's son, who thought that would be really cool. So like if we got to Kaneohe District Park, he found out, I think we could call it like Bamboo Park, because that's what that area is about. So we're just trying to reach out to the community, schools, Malama Honua, I'm not sure if they could help with assistance to naming our pump track park. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know we're still around. We didn't give up.
Mahalo, Holly.
Thank you. Mahalo for letting me speak.
You're welcome. And then my recommendation earlier is also
Yeah.
to email the chair and then just request if you guys have any updates that you guys want to update this board on, especially since legislature will start again in January. So if you guys are planning on requesting of the legislature for some funding or resourcing, we'd love to hear from you in January
Okay.
or the following months. So mahalo, Holly.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Do we have any other members of our public want to testify? A comment for Holly? Or just a comment? Okay. Yeah. Please, Canela, you're recognized.
So this is more of like a community announcement and possibly a request. So today I found out it was the U.S. Marines' birthday, which is sort of shocking to me because my dad is a U.S. veteran. And I did not know that the state capitol was holding a whole ceremony of cutting cakes, and there was a small turnout. I understand although these times are very hard of change, difficult conversations and transparency. And I've been tracking the news, social media, and everything that the governor, the mayor, even in the mayor on the Big Island. And I didn't see an announcement. So I guess the request is, how can community members find out about these type of events and ceremonies that show support and appreciation to our service members, especially during the holidays and through hard times, and even with the federal shutdown? I'm sorry I did not attend, and I am grateful for Veterans Day tomorrow because I will be celebrating my family who held arms. But again, thank you guys. Thank you to our service members for your dedication, and sacrifice from you and your families. Thank you.
Mahalo Kanela. And was that question directed to the chair?
The chair, maybe more like the governor, because it was at the state capitol, and
Oh, yeah.
just whoever holds on to the ceremonies. Who's that?
Yeah, mahalo. First of all, mahalo Kanela. And then I just want to recognize the comment online. It says that the service members have resources that are able to mass communicate regarding these events. Mahalo. Oh, and then do we have any members of the board online? Member Ralston, you recognized.
Yes, thanks, Quike. Just want to pass a word that Auntie Blanche asked me to convey to the board and the community in general. This Saturday at 9 o'clock will be a kickoff ceremony of some kind of the next phase of Mahiai Aina, and I think everybody is invited.
Mahalo, Ted, for passing on the memo. So do we bring our Ziplocs too? Just joking.
Yeah.
Plenty aloha to Auntie Blanche. Everyone's invited, guys. If there's no further comments, we're moving on to our elected officials report. First up is our Councilwoman Esther Kiaina.
Aloha and good evening, everyone.
Aloha.
I wanted to first make a comment with regard to Holly's comments on the pump track. For the city budget this fiscal year, I did put in $100,000 for the pump track. And, you know, I did know that it's going to be costing a lot of money, but I just felt that that could be at least a kickstart. I do know that Director Thielen from DPR had kind of explained how complicated the process was with regard to what DPR can do, but I still put it in anyway. And I think that the fact that Chuck Mitsui, who is the owner of 808 Skate, is on the Parks Advisory Committee is a good thing. During one of the hearings where he was announced, I actually brought the issue up, and I understand that he is working with the community and DPR. So I just want to let you know that I did put funding in, and I think that it is in the hands of DPR and people who are more familiar about the complexity of how to get funds from any source of funding and make it happen. I encourage you guys to get together. I also wanted to say that I wanted to thank the board and Chair Kimiona for holding community meetings on the charter amendment proposals. I don't know if you guys got any of your amendments in, but I did submit my amendment for authorizing historic preservation funding out of the current Clean Water and Natural Lands Fund. And my amendment is number 148. As the board considers support for various amendments, because there will be the deadline was in the 7th, but now the commission is going through a public process for hearing. I believe there's 250 amendments. I'm respectfully asking for consideration of the neighborhood board support of my amendment. And I mentioned previously I'm not trying to burden a current fund with it. It's very difficult to create a new fund, okay? But the reason I feel this is the appropriate fund is because they get $8 to $9 million annually, and they have a surplus right now of $37 million. And so I don't feel that I'm going to be unduly burdening this fund. And I also, in helping to establish the Oahu Historic Preservation Commission, they have Kuleana now with regard to identifying city-owned historic properties and historic properties in general to help on Oahu. And so I feel that I not only identified a funding stream, but I think it would adequately or appropriately align with this fund. And so I'm proposing to rename the fund from Clean Water Natural Lands Fund to the Land, Natural Resources, and Historic Preservation Fund. So I just wanted to let you guys know that Gloria is putting in the chat box the link to the actual website that has it. And I understand that we also submitted it so that all of the board members will have direct access to it in your folder, your Google Drive. And then lastly, since I'm not going to see everybody until probably the parade and then the beginning of next year, as an update to my resolution on bellows, asking for bellows back, I hope the board got all of the documents that I received on some of the executive orders by the presidents and governors, as well as the conveyance of some of the properties by our ali'i, of course, to a private ohana, so that you can kind of understand what had happened historically. I told you that I asked Department of Land and Natural Resources for just a confirmation on some information, and I did get it back. So I'm looking to continue to massage this resolution that I'm crafting, and I hope to have it ready for introduction when we return in January. And that's my update.
Mahalo,
If anyone
Councilwoman.
has any questions.
Any members of the board online, any questions or comments? Any board members in person? Councilwoman, I just want to reiterate my support for the resolution to Ho'i Bellows, and just mahalo for you and your team for diving into the due diligence and confirming the historical record with the LNR. With that, you just
Thank you.
please let us know. We're on standby.
Okay.
In addition to that, I just want to mahalo you for your many years, really, of advocacy for the Native Hawaiian people, and just want to recognize that at this moment in time. So just really, really, really mahalo, Councilwoman, and all of
Thank you so much.
your kulana. You've always represented us well, our best interests. So mahalo for that. Do we have any members of the public online that have any questions or comments for our Councilwoman? Hearing none. Any members in person?
Yes.
Okay, please, you're recognized.
Hi, this is Holly and Miguel. I want to mahalo you for putting that kickstart funding for the pump track. We've been trying to fight for this for how long to get these kids off the road and get their health going, and on bikes, scooters, in our parks, so they can use our parks, all the parts of the park. This funding, you said this is from the city or state? I just
From
want
the city.
Okay, city. And then how do we?
It's actually live right now. So it's been in the budget since July, and so what I would recommend again that Laura Thielen, that you guys set up a meeting with parks, but as you know, so easy for people to not use the money and give me all the reasons why something cannot happen. And I put in the money even being told that. And so I recommend that you contact Mr. Mitsui from 808 Skate, because I brought it up. He's done a lot of skate parks throughout Oahu, including in Kailua. And so I think we're going to have to be creative here and look for both private and government funding to get this kickstarted.
Yes.
But he understands how these things work. I told him about the money and everything. So I just encourage that you guys try to get together. If you are not getting a response, then please contact my office, and then I would try to facilitate a meeting.
Yeah, I've tried to reach him over the last several months, years, even stopping by his store, and I don't get a call back. I
But
have
he's
talked.
now on the Parks Advisory Committee, so you need to know that.
Okay, and is there
He
a
was
certain
appointed by
number?
the mayor. I'm sorry, you can, I would have to Google it as well. So
Okay.
you can contact him, but I would put the onus on the Director of Parks and Recreation. They have $100,000 that they're sitting on.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. This is great. I wish I knew that earlier. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Mahalo.
Okay.
Councilwoman,
care.
I have a follow-up to Holly's question. Is there a sunset
Okay.
to that funding? I would assume that it was earmarked for FY 26.
Gloria, do you know if I put it in operations or did I put it in CIP?
It's going to be in operations.
Okay, so it's for this fiscal year. And I actually thought, Holly, I don't know if you guys already have gotten the plans, because with regard to the cost estimates you gave me, the plans don't look like it's a lot of money. My feeling is that you need to be very aggressive in ensuring that something is triggered, and you got to be creative about it, because what I'm trying to do is just lay the groundwork and have a marker so that we could so that people can start buying in. That was my intent. And because it's so difficult to get funds now, especially for specific projects like this, I thought that was a good start.
Yes, thank you. The other funding you're talking about, was that the same thing as LWCF funds, or is that something else?
No, the those funds would be that is for I am offering an amendment to the Charter Commission to authorize historic preservation to the currently existing funds. And so what's happening is the Charter Commission is considering it. They're going to whittle it down to about 20 amendments out of 250, and they're going to put it on the ballot for people to vote. That's a different funding source.
Okay. So the LWCF funds, we found out the city hasn't applied for that in several years. And that's another possibility that we could go for. And Waimānalo District Park is approved for those funding.
Yes, I think you're confusing the different funds. I think the federal funds that you're talking about is federal funds at the National Park Service.
This one is Land Water Conservation Fund, and Waimānalo District Park is approved.
Yes, but you need to know the source of the fund.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that that's a federal fund. The fund that I was referring to is a city fund.
Got it. Yes.
Okay, so you just need to know that the different funds, there are state, city,
yes,
and federal funds.
Yes.
I'm going to interject here, and then just Holly, just encourage you to do the due diligence and make sure that you position yourself to aggressively encourage parks to spend down that money before it sunsets.
Okay. Thank you very much. I
Take care,
appreciate
you guys.
Mahalo, Councilwoman. I'll see you at the
See
parade.
you guys at the parade.
Aloha. Okay, moving on with our agenda this evening. Do we have our State Senator Chris Lee? Yeah, hearing and seeing none. Do we have our State Representative Lisa Martin? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Do we have a representative of our governor, Josh Green? Okay, hearing and seeing none. How about a representative of our Congresswoman Jill Takuda? All right, easy agenda this evening. Moving on to section 7 of our agenda, board business. First up is our subsection A, approval of regular meeting minutes, Monday, October 13th, 2025. I just want to first ask for the record. Melissa, do we have quorum? Okay, so we do have quorum. All right. Does anybody feel moved to make a motion to approve our
This
meeting
is-
minutes?
This is Moyanta. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Seconded.
Mahalo. So it was motioned by Member Moyata and seconded by Member Makaila. You got that on record? All right. So now that we have a motion on the floor, it's up for discussion. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Yeah. It's in the agenda and it's also posted online. Any discussion from the board members? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Let's call for the question. Who calls for call for the vote? Yeah. So for the record, usually just practice of this board. We usually do a roll call vote on the first motion.
Okay, if I call your name, please take your vote. Member Kamahaloha Nuilai,
Yes.
thank you. Vice Chair,
Aye.
thank you. Chair Khan is not. Member Makaila,
Aye.
thank you. Member Maki,
Aye.
Member Mokulehua,
Aye.
thank you. Member Nee,
Aye.
Member Ralston, Member Ralston, I see him online muted. Member Wong,
Aye.
Member Ralston, no. 1, 2, 3. 7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain. Motion adopted, Vice Chair.
Mahalo. Mahalo, board members. Moving on to the next order of business. The consideration of dog-friendly parks proposal and recommendation to the Department of Parks and Recreation. Do we have any discussion on this? Anyone out?
Board Member Canella, my Manao is possibly for the recommended parks, to possibly more further discuss utilizing beach parks as a dog park or being recommended as a dog park.
Sorry, can you please repeat that again?
Sorry, Board Member Canella. So my consideration is to discuss more about the recommended parks, the Department of Parks and Recreations, to possibly not use beach parks as a recommended dog park locations.
Mahalo. So for clarification, you are of the position that public beach parks should not
Yes.
be used for
A dog park.
a dog park. Okay. What about, okay, so mahalo for that. And then do we have any other manao? Because I believe the consideration is for dog-friendly parks, right? So currently we have members of the beneficiary trust of the HHL that have Ilio, that have dogs, and that also utilize our beach parks. But because of the city's ordinance currently, yeah, dogs are barred or not allowed to be within the boundaries of the park. So for instance, if in Ohana, which my Ohana does it, which they did it more, but they walk the dogs to the beach. That's against the law currently, right? So that's when I read the language, and then right here in the agenda, it's the consideration of dog-friendly parks. It
Okay.
doesn't necessarily mean that they're carving out a section of the park or a subsection of the park for only dogs, like how we see in Hawaii Kai,
Yes.
how we see in Mauna Loa,
Yes.
right? It's just, I believe it's to change the rules of the parks to allow dogs to
Okay.
be present.
Thank you, Vice Chair, for that clarification.
However, I still support your position,
Yeah.
right? That we shouldn't be using beneficiary lands and
Yeah.
resources to carve out specific dog use areas.
I believe with this consideration, that's why I did ask our ocean safety for his mana'o as well, to see how it is to having dog-friendly parks, because I understand the barrier, because I take my dog here at the district park and it's not a dog-friendly park either. We're getting stopped by HPD and everything. So just possibly having more community conversation on it. Because dog-friendly parks also include like houseless dogs, dogs off leash, all the dogs there. And I did take in consideration the ocean safety, because it takes like that one bad dog or like that one dog to just ripple effect, like the not best scenarios. But mahalo.
Yeah, mahalo. And I just want to, just for the record, just make this statement. This is a personal statement. This doesn't reflect the board. You know, I said earlier that it's illegal for dogs to be in a park. However, what is not illegal is for Kanaka or Native Hawaiians under Article 12, Section 7 of the state's constitution, which trumps or which has greater jurisdiction or greater authority over any of the city ordinances. Yeah, that Native Hawaiians can in fact practice, their Native Hawaiian cultural and customary rights, which embedded within our culture, we have Ilio, and we have Ilio as companions. We see pictures of our mo'i, of our ali'i, with, their favorite companions, which much of it were Ilio, right? We have mo'olelo. So all of these things are embedded within law, and it's not illegal for Kanaka to do it, but I just want to, for clarification, right, that's what the consideration was.
Sorry. So is the clarification to be more inclusive, so those that are not Kanaka to allow their dogs in the park? Because if we're safe as Kanakas to allow our ilio under the Constitution, is this more for everyone else? Because that's also where my personal barrier is on who's going to be held accountable if they don't pick up their poop on the sand, or if the keiki's running on it, or even a dog going off leash. Like, that's where my like thoughts and consideration would be for this kind of thing, because
Mahalo. And I don't want this to turn into a full discussion all night, right? But if I can frame my response this way. Yeah, you are as safe as the knowledge and wisdom you possess. Yeah. At the end of the day, should an officer approach you, should a law enforcement officer approach you, yeah, it is up to the officer whether or not they are going to issue you a citation. Right. At that point in time, it is your kuleana to malama your kuleana within the court system. Right. So you're only as safe. I mean, since you reference ocean safety, I feel safe in the ocean. I've swam, lived with all of these currents in Waimānalo, so I feel safe. But the same degree of safety does not apply to everyone. It is because of my knowledge and my lived experience that I can stand there and feel safe and be safe and create a safe space for others, right? Not everybody has that experience. Not everybody has that confidence to cite, to live within our kuleana of the law. So I'm just going to park that right there. Yeah. And then bring us back to the agenda item, which is under section 7 board business, subsection B, the consideration of dog-friendly parks proposal and recommendation to the Department of Parks and Recreation. Now, I just want to pull this back in and say that I don't have any official language or recommendation in front of me, as I chair this meeting. So if there's any discussion on the matter, whether we go and send any recommendations to Parks and Recs, DPR, yeah, that's up for the discussion this evening. And then I see some comments in online. Would request that consideration be made to not allow any dog parks in Waimānalo. There are several dog parks in Kailua and Hawaii, Mauna Loa. Please consider instead allotted hours for dogs at parks. The problem with this, though, is many malihini take advantage of that very thought. And I don't disagree. Ovaikila, who is that? Who's SP? Palamai. I just, I'm not Ma'a, so I just mahalo you for your comments in there. Aloha. And I just want to say, I just wanted to make sure that I also acknowledge you and recognize you. So mahalo for jumping in there with the comments. Board members, if at this point in time, do we have any board members online that have any comments on this? I would love
I do, Kuike.
Member Wong, go ahead. You're
Yeah, I
recognized.
just wanted to echo ocean safety, that there is a growing number of dogs in the houses community on the camping site that do not leash their dogs, and they're giving birth and they grow bigger, and I think it's a threat to, I mean, to be honest, there are people who come with dogs on their leash, and I even talked to the groundskeeper. It's not a huge problem, but I think the problem that is happening right there is these dogs are multiplying in number and size, and I don't think that there's anything happening to try to take care of that.
Mahalo, Member Wong. So expanding it out of the agenda item, I just want to bring us back to the agenda item. It's the consideration of dog-friendly parks. And I don't want to jump into the realm or conversation of public safety, because that's not agendized here. But if that could be folded into a recommendation to DPR.
Vice Chair,
I
recommend,
go ahead.
recommend that we wait on this consideration until maybe we can possibly get more official verbiage from DPR and public safety regarding this topic.
Mahalo. And Canela, I will receive that and recognize that. And then the chair's recommendation at this point in time is to table this to January's agenda. However, I would highly encourage any of the board members here or any of the members in public that are present this evening with us or in the future to follow whatever DPR is doing or recommending, to translate or relook at the current rules. And I just want to remind us that all of the parks in Waimānalo, all of the beach parks in Waimānalo, minus, I mean, we can argue the point later, but minus Hunananiho, all of the parks in Waimānalo that DPR currently has a license agreement to manage, and Bellows, but to manage is DHHL. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that any rule changes come with the consultation of the Native Hawaiian community and the beneficiaries of the DHHO Trust as established in the 1921 Hawaiian Homes Commissions Act. So like that would be my strongest recommendation, and I will be uplifting that or communicating that offline. And I highly encourage those of us this evening to do that. So if there's no objections, the chair will table this for January. Any objections?
No objections. No objections.
Mahalo. Okay, moving on. Mahalo, guys. Mahalo to all our wahine too. Last thing on our board business this evening, subsection C, is the considerations of State Department of Transportation's recommendations. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 here, 7 recommendations from DOT. I will read them out as follows. First is to recommend that the City Department of Facilities Maintenance or appropriate department to install new trash bins at all stops with a bench. I would just assume that those are all bus stops with a bench. And then the second recommendation is Kalaniana Ole Highway fronting St. Matthew's Church, both marked crosswalks at Hihimanu Street and Ehukai Street to raised crosswalks with flashing lights, school zone. Third, request a traffic analysis opportunity. Request traffic analytics opportunity by the State Department of Transportation for Waimānalo. Fourth recommendation is the installation of raised crosswalks between Kumuhao Street and the S-turn Kalaniana Ole Highway headed to Kailua, perhaps at Flamingo Street. Fifth, recommendation of speed reduction on Kumuniu Street from 25 miles per hour to 10 miles per hour. Sixth, recommendation for mirror or other type of driver's aid turning out of Kumuniu Street onto Kumuhao Street. And last, recommendation for raised crosswalk to Aloiloi Street and Kalaniana Ole Highway fronting McDonald's and bus stop. So members, over the past several months, we've been in discussions about this. I would just take all of the considerations as a bundle, or if we want and have a discussion about that, or if we want to pull one or two or some of these items out so they can have their respective discussions. Any recommendations this evening?
This is Board Member Mokulehua. I recommend to, after thinking about it, I think that those are all good and safe recommendations for our community, and I would think it's good to bundle it and approve it at once. So I want to make a motion to recommend proposing those changes with the DOT.
Mahalo. Do we have a second?
Member Wong would like to second that.
Mahalo nui. Members of the board, we have a motion in front of us to accept this subsection C under board business, the considerations of State Department of Transportation recommendations as a bundle, so all 7. Yeah, and we are now open for discussion. The floor is now open for discussion. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'll
Go
just
ahead.
bring up one thing quickly if I can.
Go ahead, Ted.
There's about 3 other lists the Department of Transportation has of open items that is working on. For example, the crosswalks at Tinker, the improvement of the Mackay shoulder between Tinker and the village, and the pole at Wailea Street. So we're gonna make sure that they don't lose track of the other things they've already agreed to go after. That's all I would add to this.
Mahalo. I received that, and then if we can enter that into the record for the minutes, and then as a follow-up to January's meeting. Mahalo, Member Ralston.
Sorry.
Canela, go ahead. You're recognized.
So I just was trying to get clarification. So for C 7
Okay.
for the recommendation of the race crosswalk in front of McDonald's, are we still requesting for dividers or the street dividers by McDonald's? Because people like to overtake by that bus stop. I think that was like in one of our meetings.
Yes.
Is that still going to be a part of the recommendation?
So the recommendation as it reads, yeah, does not include those quote unquote dividers that you're mentioning, but because this is both for Aloiloi Street, um, yeah, so it's in front of the McDonald's bus stop. What we can do is request a friendly amendment of the move on, and if the move on would accept the friendly amendment. Jamie, remember Mokulewa? Are you there? I don't see her on the screen. So to be clear, you would want to put back in there the dividers. I forgot what they're called.
Delineator.
Delineators. On the Mauka, right? Mauka side.
At least the Malka side.
Yeah, because they have them and then they kept getting run over on the Makai side. Mauka side of, yeah, Mauka side. Okay. And then, Mahalo, is that it, Canelo? And then I would also, is there any other questions or comments on the floor? Hearing and seeing none, Chair would also request a friendly amendment for subsection I, 1, to add just one word right before stops. So it would now read, the amended language would read, recommend that the City Department of Facilities Maintenance or appropriate department to install new trash bins at all insert bus stops with a bench. So the original move on was, remember Mokulehua? Are you there?
Sorry, yes, I'm here.
Okay, so there's a friendly request to amend. First is under the 7th recommendation to add at the end of the recommendation delineators Mauka side. Yeah, because the original request from our community was for the raised crosswalks or speed tables. Yeah, and then the delineators, because people often overtake, cars as they're turning left into Aloiloi Street. So to protect the pedestrians. And then the second amendment would be under 1, right, to add between all stops for clarification, all bus stops. Because it could be stop signs, you know what I mean? So we just want to be really clear
Yeah.
on what.
No, we don't need a trash can at every stop sign. So yeah, I agree. I agree that
Okay.
I think those are good amendments, and I motion to move forward with the amended verbiage.
Mahalo nui. And then do we have a kako'o from our second?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, mahalo nui. Members, the floor is still open for discussion. Do we have any further discussion on the matter? Okay, hearing and seeing none. How do we want to move with this, Melissa? Okay, you can do a roll call. Okay, Chair's calling for the question.
Okay, so this is to proposing changes as a bundle with minor amendments. Okay. Member Kamahalohan Wilai,
Aye.
Vice Chair.
Aye.
Member Makaila,
Aye.
Member Maki,
Aye.
Member Mokulehua,
Aye.
Member Ni,
Aye.
Member Ralston,
Aye.
Member Wong.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes, 0 abstain. Motion adopted.
Mahalo nui. Moving on. It's been quite a haul. It's been, to help assist our community, in amplifying their voices and being heard, especially when it comes to DOT. But I also want to reach out to Casey from DOT for actually being in our community, every other week, and being active. So just mahalo nui to Casey and the leadership of under Ed Sniffen. And with that, we're moving on to the final section of our agenda this evening, section 8, meeting announcements. Okay, and then I will pass it over to our neighborhood board assistant, Melissa.
This is
Vice
for
Chair,
the,
can I add something?
Sure. Go ahead, Member Wong. You're
Yeah,
recognized.
I contacted Chair Kimiona about adding to the agenda approval of the signs for the Parks and Rec, as Director Thielen asked me for that. And I don't see it on the agenda, but I did email everybody a copy of the recommendations. But I asked him and he said he would put it on the agenda, but I didn't see it.
Mahalo. I will. Okay. So let me ask, when did you email all of the board members?
I emailed all of the board members yesterday and I asked Chair Kimiona probably about a week after the last board meeting if it could be added to the agenda.
Okay. And then if I can just also ask, when did you request? Well, I apologize.
Director Thielen asked me to submit what signs do we want for the Parks and Rec and where do we want to put them? And she said that at the last meeting. And so I came up with a list talking to the Hunano Niho groundskeeper and some Waimānalo community members. And I came up with something that I emailed yesterday, which wasn't the earliest, but it took time to compile everything.
Mahalo. Where is that? Okay. Well, Member Wong, if you give me 1 minute and then to the other members of the board, if you guys just please entertain me for 1 minute. Let me just look through this agenda this evening and then see what we can do. I read off in the very beginning of the agenda, and in order to amend the agenda, we would need a 2/3 vote of our board. Unfortunately, Member Wong, we don't have 9 members of the board present. We only have 8, and I believe all 8 would be in support. However, that's not enough, as identified by Sunshine Law, to amend the agenda. But what we can do and what the chair is willing to do, that way all of the due diligence that you've done and your committee, I will, because it's identified here under the mayor's report, and it's called out explicitly, the issue that you brought up. If there's no opposition to, from the other members of the board, I will hear out, what you have to present to the board. That way it's entered into the record, into the minutes. And my recommendation is you follow up with that with Chair Kane, to make sure that it's on January's agenda for board business. That way we can take action on it. Unfortunately, that's the best that I can probably do. And I would defer to Melissa at this time if she has a differencing in opinion. Give me a second.
yeah, I agree.
So to the board members, if we can please allow Member Wong the grace this evening, because of her work and her commitment to this community and the Committee on Parks and Recs. Member Wong, you have the floor.
Yes, are you saying that I could just present this to be
Please.
approved
Yeah.
and then we'll vote in
Yes.
January?
Yes, so
Okay.
I'm saying that this evening, as I chaired this meeting, I will entertain your presentation, but what I cannot do is guarantee that we will take the vote in January. That is up to Chair Kane to agendize it, and I'm really confident that he will support it. Just, sometimes things happen and things don't happen. So at this time, Member Wong, you are recognized and you have the floor.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So, in my document that I emailed to you, I'll just read off what I have and then you guys can look deeper at it. So these are the specific signs requests that Director Thielen asked us for and locations. And as I said earlier, it's in conversation with the Hunananiho groundskeeper and people from the Parks Committee and Waimānalo community members. So the first sign is at Hunananiho, asking for 6 signs. These are signs to help the public know what are the guidelines, what is prohibited, so that when they're trying to enforce things, people often say to them, I don't see a sign. How do I know if I can do this or not? So we need 6 signs, 1 at the front gate, 2 in the camping parking lot, 2 in the picnic parking lot, and at the back gate on Oili Street. The following are prohibited: alcoholic beverages, animals, camping except with permit, golfing, littering, open fires, feeding of animals, ropes or straps on trees, damaging trees or property, drones, generators or inflatables, vehicles beyond parking lot, and vehicle camping. And then on the bottom is what happens if you violate like any of those blue signs we see in all the parks. Sign number 2 at Hunananiho in the same locations. There's no sign that says when the park is open and closed, so they can't enforce that. So the park is closed to the public 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless authorized by permit, which is the camping permits. And then the same thing about the violations. And then sign number 3, this is a sign that's related to the ordinance about no commercial activity. And it's recommended that we have a sizable sign at each of these Waimānalo beach parks and smaller ones at the beach lot access points. So the parks that are covered under these ordinances is Makapu'u Beach Park, Kaipo Beach Park, Kaiona Beach Park, Waimānalo Beach Park, Hunananiho Beach Park, with the same numbers of signs as I mentioned earlier, since it's a bigger area and parking lot. Bellows Park Beach Park. And on the top headline, it says, no commercial activity allowed. And the body text says, commercial activity is prohibited at this park at all times. Commercial activity means any use of the park for which compensation, money, barter, or services in kind is received in return for goods or services rendered to customers or participants, including but not limited to paid tour or tour bus stops, photo shoots or wedding services for hire, rental of equipment, chairs, umbrellas, kayaks, paddleboards, merchandise sale or service-based operations. And then it lists the ordinance 22-3 and the revised ordinances 10-1.2 and what happens with unauthorized activity, and then a number to contact if they see violations. The 4th sign is what we've been talking about, which sounds like she's addressing. They need the campsite. I guess that's the 5th one, but I'm sorry. The 4th one is a sign that says Hunananiho campsites. 2 signs, one at the fork of the road and another one near the camping area on the left parking lot that says camping by permit only, Friday 8 a.m. to Wednesday 8 a.m. And then sign number 5 is what we've been discussing, is the numbered sign for each of the campsites at Hunananiho. Sign number 6 is it's more related to the parking stalls for handicap participants. So remarking the handicap parking stall at Hunananiho camping site and marking the handicap access lane, which is connected to the walking path. And then we want to ask for 2 additional handicap parking stalls so that kupuna who are camping can have closer access to the camping sites. Sign number 7, we see a lot of these already in Hunananiho. Is a sign that says no government trespassing. They're posted near the forest, but the groundskeeper were asking for 3 additional no government trespassing signs near the ocean safety container to keep people out of that area. And then the last one, number 8, is what I mentioned earlier about the equipment, the weed whackers and blowers, and that they have a place to receive their Polaris in the bathroom. And that Polaris was our number 1 on the priority list that we handed in possibly about a year ago. So thank you for including this.
Yes, mahalo, Member Wong. And at this point in time, I just would recommend that all of this language is included into the package, and that package again is disseminated to Chair Kane no less than 5 business days. My recommendation is 10 days out before the agenda is due for January. So mid-December.
I could also send it to him earlier too, like
Yeah.
after.
You don't have to wait for that. And then
Yeah.
I would also and this is just my own recommendation, because this is such a, I would imagine that if this item was agendized at the board meeting, that we would need a substantial amount of time for discussion. Yeah. So we can make clear and appropriate and lawful recommendation for signage. Yeah. And while I support it, my recommendation is to you as the chair, the standing chair of the Parks and Recs Committee, and Chair Wong, is to, and I know we haven't been holding committee meetings, but that doesn't bar us, or that doesn't stop us from calling committee meetings. So the general board of the general Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32 does recess in December, but that does not mean that the committee has to recess. So to allow space and time for the committee, for the community to invest and ingest, the recommendation that's coming to the board, I would recommend that you call a committee meeting in the month of December. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be one agenda item, and it could just be this. That way you can provide ample time and opportunity for community to contribute their mana'o and thoughts to the subject matter. And if you are considering that all agendas must be due by what day in November? Because they have to. Okay, so
I just wanted to mention, Vice Chair, that Kimiona told me that we're not allowed to have our committee meetings until all the minutes are caught up.
as the acting chair, I'm not going to override, Chair Kane. However, I just think that if that's in fact the case and the position which I support, that's a conversation that I also had, right, with Chair Kane, but given that this recommendation would be quite substantial, and I would also love to include, the individual campsites within Hunananiho, to be identified and have signage. And it doesn't have to be large signage, but that way it's just very clear. This is your area. This is campsite 10. This is campsite 1. And my recommendation within Hunananiho is any signage that would be beyond the parking lot would actually be green and not blue. So I would love to participate in any further conversations or discussions. However, if that's not within the scope of Kuleana that's allowed by our Chair Kane, it is what it is. So send it to Chair Kane and let me know if you need support advocating for this to be on January's agenda.
Mahalo.
You're very welcome. And with that, we're moving on to meeting announcements.
This is for the Toys for Tots toy drive. If you guys have any or brought any toys, then I can collect it tonight.
Please introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Melissa. I'm the neighborhood assistant with the Neighborhood Commission office.
Okay. Well, with that, we heard from Melissa. If anyone has brought any makana or toys for the Toys for Tots toy drive, she will be accepting them tonight and then adding them to the pool of Aloha. With that, the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32 will be in recess for December 2025 and will return in January 2026. 2025 Olelo broadcast schedule. The Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32 meetings are broadcasted on Olelo Channel 49 on the 4th Monday of the month at 9 p.m. and on the 1st and 3rd Saturdays of the month at 3 p.m. If there's no further mana'o from the members of our board, I would just want to mahalo everyone for your continued service and those who are listening and joining us tonight and in the future. If you have any interest in serving on the board, while we await the opinion from the board commission, to change the sub-districts to at large. That way we can be more inclusive of those who live within sub-districts that are already represented. I want to mahalo everyone for hanging on with us. It is now 9:02 p.m. And if you feel the need, if you feel the drive, please join us on the board when we can reconvene in January. With that, my deepest aloha and blessings over the holiday season. Please be safe, drink a lot of water, manage your fireworks appropriately, and be healthy. I will see you guys in the new year, and I will call the meeting to adjourn at 9:03 p.m. Mahalo kako. With that, can we have a volunteer to close us in pule? Can we please have, I would request Member Wong.
Glad to.
Mahalo.
Mahalo Keakua for guiding us in our meeting tonight. We thank you for Waimānalo, this beautiful community, all the people here, all the people who come. Thank you for tonight's meeting. We ask you, Lord, to bless Waimānalo, to bless this place, this beautiful place that you have given us, Lord. And we thank you for the board. Pray blessings on each person and the areas that we represent, Lord, that you would continue to lead us and guide us and give us your strength, and that we would live out your heart for aloha and pono in this place. Thank you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And I just want to recognize our members of the City and County of Honolulu with us this evening, from the Neighborhood Board Commission. Melissa, and as well as our camera guy. He's never on the camera, but he's always with us here. So just mahalo nui for being here, providing sound and record for our public. So blessings to you and your ohana as well from the community of Waimānalo. Aloha ia i kako.